This event begins with an absolute ignition, distinct from the warm dawn or jagged fork of lightning. Though standing close enough to look directly at the source, never truly process what they are seeing today. And their lives end instantly in total luminance, while people positioned further out feel a sudden rupture in time. They witness a second horizon instantly forming a terrifying sphere, ballooning outward at an impossible velocity. Right now, silhouettes become razor-edged, while concrete facades radiate thermal energy before the massive pressure wave arrives, devouring all inside the metropolis. At ground zero, modern skylines buckle and warp, as if constructed from mere tissue paper. Heavy vehicles skid across pavement that shatters beneath their tires, while debris climbs into massive roiling storms. Yet amidst this total obliteration, parts of the planet remain eerily undisturbed for the moment. Miles away, citizens look up from coffee cups and workstations, completely baffled by an emergency siren or a flickering monitor. Vibrations rattle windows without shattering them, while cellular grids buckle as millions seek answers simultaneously. In the panic, broadcast networks scramble to read urgent scripts, while anchors steady their trembling voices to rustle catastrophe into sentences. Highways gridlock as alarms wail, and birds flee the canopy in panicked flocks, while animals pace nervously. Today, nobody knows if this initial detonation is a singular event or merely the prelude to absolute total destruction. The era of scheduled alarms, rush hour traffic, and the silent promise of daily security has finished forever. Our species has crossed into a bleak new volume, a chapter historians warned us about but prayed unwritten. In the minutes after a nuclear event, a primal urge takes over, as people gaze skyward for clarity over the blast site. A turbulent column punches into the stratosphere as a monumental pillar of ash rises, sculpts the silhouette known to history and dreaded by every generation. The infamous and terrifying mushroom cloud. Inside this churning vortex, millions of debris pieces like glass and pulverized stone are sucked upward into gales. Observers watching from safety may not grasp the gravity, yet seeing only a horrific atmospheric fire burning brightly. The silent killer is already dispersing, as deadly fallout isotopes drift and settle wherever the wind currents dictate. Smartphones buzz again as displays blink, with urgent commands to take cover instantly and move to the core. Yet half the public stalls, as some wander outdoors to film the distant anomaly with their shaking fingers. Others pack bags frantically, while civil defense sirens fight to be heard over the rising chaos and panic. Streetlights blink out in cities spared the direct blast, as entire districts plunge into absolute blackness right now. Inside apartments, households huddle near radios, hanging on every syllable from reporters who navigate the dark alongside them. A vocabulary that was once impossible becomes standard in minutes, while governments act rapidly within sealed secret chambers. Diplomats try to arrest the escalation, while mundane scenes turn ominous and queues at fuel pumps snake around. Residents pound on neighbors' doors, as fear travels faster than broadcast signals, creating the panic we see today. This panic is insidious as the world stares at the clouds, aware they might not be finished yet. Humanity splits into two factions, while deep inside hardened military silos, monitors flood with telemetry and threat bands. Every passing second forces new choices, each carrying a heavy price tag of millions of souls right now. In these pressurized spaces, composure is mandatory and fingers operate with discipline, despite the terror behind every gaze. Outside secure ecosystems, the civilian infrastructure optimized for comfort was never engineered to survive simultaneous collapse and destruction. Data pipes are choked and cell towers fail, as people attempt to dial family but hear only static. In metropolises, the illusion of safety fractures, as medical centers trigger surge plans and page absent doctors immediately. Drugstores lock their grates as domestic terror looks like looting, and law enforcement boards light up with pleas. The logistics network starts to snap when one abandoned car deadlocks a critical junction. As drivers sprint home, aviation authorities ground all commercial jets. While a profound psychological alteration sweeps the country, in this dark hour trust erodes quickly. And when the belief in order crumbles, human conduct evolves into chaos and desperate survival. The greatest danger in the early phase is not radiation, but panic as officials beg citizens to shelter. Many ignore orders, but as ash drifts down one, reality becomes sharper with every ticking second of time. Institutions built to safeguard society are now fighting just to describe exactly what has occurred to the world. As the hour advances, the standard logic of existence evaporates, faster than physical roads ever could. This morning, federal bodies start lockdown measures as the National Guard deploys to corral civilians into a new, bleak reality, one where anarchy waits just past the limits of comprehension. At airfields where passengers press against glass, witnessing military jets scramble while their own flights sit lifeless, as departure boards show only cancellations. Now the mood shifts from annoyance to horror. While in major capitals the horizon no longer provides comfort, skyscrapers reflecting the distant glow of debris clouds serve as reminders that safety is geographically finite. Today, the urban pulse falters as corporate towers vacate, and the noise of running feet overtakes business hum. Rural zones face a different truth of terrifying quiet, where neighbors gather in driveways scanning the sky. Rumors thrive where data is absent as radios hiss with bulletins, then switch to looping alert tones. Everywhere, time distorts as minutes feel elongated and choices feel manic, while grocers bolt their entrances shut. Fuel stations cut power to pumps as motorists queue up, demanding to refill tanks they ignored yesterday. The concept of infinite abundance shatters instantly, as hospitals confront an impossible and tragic ethical dilemma. Now they must prep for victims who might never reach them, or answer cries from zones closer in. Clinical teams choose action to stop the terror from taking root, while kids watch parents for cues. They do not comprehend atomic fire or statcraft. They only read the terrified mood in the room. Nobody knows how deep that shift will go, in an existence suspended between calamity and the unknown. This is the most precarious ground humanity can occupy, even as the sun still lights up towns. Electricity still flows and people respire, but underneath that veneer of normality, the foundation has cracked open. The first hour is concluding right now, and the terrifying epoch of AF has officially started today. The first hour of nuclear war does not end with sirens, but it ends with heavy silence. In the closing seconds of this opening hour, a heavy collective understanding blankets a broken earth. Now, this is not a fleeting crisis, but a fulcrum in time as newsreaders speak very deliberately. They weigh every phrase knowing their voices are the only anchor for millions fighting hysteria. Right now, cabinets draft declarations for centuries, while defense algorithms track vectors that human minds cannot yet fully parse. Launch codes are authenticated as ballistic subs submerge, and air defense grids toggle to absolute readiness immediately. Situation rooms charts are no longer hypothetical, but are organic and pulsing with casualties right now. Yet for the masses, the grand tactics of empires remain unseen, because what they see is intimate. They see fathers converting basements into bunkers, and strangers offering aid in parking lots across the city. A resident shares the last working radio as survival turns communal, Even if fear whispers, solitude saves. The future once calculated in decades contracts to minutes, as families hold on to brief texts like safe. Those characters are fragile threads and evidence that humanity persists in a world suddenly starved of guarantees. In the distance, the suit continues to descend, as experts have always cautioned about the initial blast. They say the blast is not the deadliest component of atomic war, but the sequence that ensues. It is the counter-strike grid failure. Smoke blocking the sun and the hunger stalking the ruins. Those realities wait in the timeline ahead. But in this final gasp, there is one absolute certainty. We now stand at the precipice of a vast and unmapped decline that changes our world forever. Every decision made from this point will dictate the depth of our fall. And if we ascend, this hour will be recorded in texts and discussed by descendants, not yet conceived if they survive. It is the hour where civilization shivers, where faith snaps, and where the world becomes a myth. The first hour of nuclear war does not close with a scream, but it closes with hush. It is a hush, saturated with the realization that everything we knew is gone, forever from us. Whatever follows next will determine what remains of us. So like and subscribe to Wines of Thought.